Hi everyone, this is a quick demo on a database service running on Exascale Infrastructure. Let me show you exactly the service I'm trying to present here. So I have an Oracle Exadata database service on Exascale Infrastructure. And here is this is the VM cluster. I have this VM cluster with one single node, actually. You can see here it has one VM count with 8 CPUs, eCPUs, 22 gigabytes of memory, and a storage vault. The storage vault is the persistence layer of the Exascale infrastructure where the database stores all the data, all the information. You can also see here, so on the left menu, I have the VM clusters and Exascale storage vaults and other resources like software images and standalone backups. So this is the VM cluster you can see here. And if I go to Exascale storage vaults, I can see the vault. It has a capacity of 300 gigabytes. Autoscale is disabled. You can enable the autoscale in case your data volume increases suddenly and you want to leave it automatically to be adjusted by the environment, by the cloud tooling. You can also set a limit for the autoscaling, and this vault in particular, this persistence layer has a storage unit, let's say, or a storage server. Thinking about database, you have database servers and storage servers. This is the storage server, and the VM cluster is the database server, but it's virtualized. So this storage server has associated just one VM cluster, the VM cluster I showed in the previous page. And then you can have software images. I don't have anything here in software images. And if I go back to my VM clusters, I have some standalone backups, but I have, these are at the database level. I will show those at the database level. So if I click, let's see the storage vault first, the details, because this is the easier to navigate and to inspect. You have the compartment here, you have the availability domain, you can have multiple storage vaults in different compartments in different availability domains. And then you have the metadata, the OCID, when it was created, the configuration of the time zone, capacity. I'm consuming currently 111 gigabytes of storage from the 300 gigabytes available. Autoscaling disabled, and then the associated VM clusters. The VM cluster I showed you, I'm going to show you in details. And then I have work requests. Currently, there is no work request on this storage server and tags. Let's go back to the VM cluster. VM cluster has one single VM. You can see here all the general information. Again, you have a link and the information regarding the storage layer. You can see here again the same details. I'm using the Exascale Smart Storage. Actually, it's a storage server from the Exadata appliance. And then I have enabled diagnostics. There is no maintenance scheduled. I have resources allocation. You can see here the memory size, the eCPUs. I have no reservations. You can see here also the database details regarding the network configuration. So I have some scan DNS names and IP addresses for the database deployment, because this is real application clusters configuration, even if it has just one single node. You can add more nodes and it's still a real application cluster configuration. It has scan IP addresses and scan DNS names. It has the listener, the port, and the image I'm using, you can see here the version of the Exadata image software deployed and installed and configured on this machine, on this virtualized environment, because the Exascale servers are virtualized, is the 25.2.3.0.0. This is from 20th of October 2025, this image. And this is the grid infrastructure version 23.26, the latest Oracle AI database 26 AI grid infrastructure. And you can see here the system is up to date because I applied the updates. When I deployed at first this environment, it had a previous release update. It wasn't a 26 AI, but then I applied the updates. Let me show you the updates here. There are no currently available updates for the operating system for the base machine, database server, and also for the grid infrastructure. There are no currently available database, no updates available to be applied, to be installed. But you can, if you look at the update history, in October, I applied the latest Exadata software image, as you can see here. I applied the OS, the operating system updates, in order to upgrade and to deploy the latest release update of Oracle database, AI database 26 AI. You can see here I executed some pre-checks, then I tried an apply execution. It failed. You can see the in work requests, you can go and see the logs and the errors in case this happens, and you can fix the errors, and then you can try again the apply. As you can see here, I applied again this was the September update when it actually failed. So the September release update had an issue. I fixed it. I applied again the update, and then everything went fine. And then for the October update, in this case for the Oracle 26 AI, actually, I pre-checked and then applied with no issues. If you go to work requests, you can see here when I was applying the updates, you can see that this one failed. And if you want to see the errors I was mentioning and the logs, you have to click here the procedure that actually failed, and you go to log messages and error messages. And I had insufficient space on one of the mounts. This was the problem. So you can actually check what failed in the log messages. I have no log messages here in this case, but I have error messages, which gave me all the details about the step that actually failed and the error code. So I fixed the problem, and then I applied the update again, the release update again, and then it worked. So if I go back to my details, if I go back to work requests, you can see here. So after this failure, I fixed and I applied the VM cluster again, and it succeeded. And then I have more work requests. I updated so these are updates. And then I I created a new database home, but I will get to this in just a few seconds. So all the updates are at this these four tabs actually updates up for the operating system, grid infrastructure, the history, and these two are to check if there are available updates you can get and deploy, and update history here. And then you can go and see the virtual machines. So this, as I said, this cluster is virtualized. It has one node with one single virtual machine. You can connect to this virtual machine with the private key, SSH private key. And you can see also the database homes. If you go to the virtual machine, you can check the environment, the configuration in command line, or using the tools you have available, pre-installed, pre-configured on the Exascale cluster. Or you can use the cloud interface, the cloud console, and you can see the database homes. We have a database. We have two database homes here. Both are the same version, 26 AI. You can see here the base version is 23 and the release update 26.0. So this is a 26 AI database home. And you can see also the container databases. In each database home, I have one single container database available. They are both at the same version, release update, and they have been created at different times. As you can see here, I have different database unique names, of course, to differentiate, and also the name you can see on the console is different. In order to go into more details about the database, you have to click these links, and then you will go into the database information. But just want to show you some more actions I have here. So I have the view details and the database connection and some procedures predefined for the database container databases. But also at the cluster level, I have some actions to add new SSH keys, to update the license, and other operations, basic operations you can perform at the cluster level. I will go into the database page in order to show you exactly all the details in a single view. So this is the database page. You have the database information on the first tab with the basic configuration, general information, database version, and the database home in which it is this database is running. As I said, I have two database homes. This is the first one. I have some backup configuration, basic backup configuration here. I have automatic backup enabled. And then everything is protected. I'm facing a data loss exposure of 9 minutes and 39 seconds based on my backup configuration that I currently have. You can have different backup policies and disaster recovery policies in order to limit the data loss exposure and to make sure you are not losing any data at all. You have zero data loss for your database in case it's a mission critical database. In my case, this is not a mission critical. It is just a standard demo environment, and I can face this 9 minutes of data loss in case it happens. I can today, 25th of November, it was at night. I had the last full completed backup. They are all incremental backups actually taken. But I also have some failed backups from last week when I made some configuration changes and it affected my backup, automatic backup execution. You can see here I have an error message. I have the backup destination, the autonomous recovery service. This is the recommended one and the best one to to have for your databases, even for mission critical databases. And my protection policy is a silver one. I can enable the real-time data protection, as I said, but this is not, in my case, this is not necessary. And I can increase the protection policy level from silver to platinum, for example, for a more important database. I have no disaster recovery configuration. You can see here, I can even configure the full stack disaster recovery, but this is not configured. Encryption is mandatory, and I have Oracle managed key encryption. And I have full database management services deployed. I will show you the details of this in the next tabs. If I go to backups here, I can see the automatic backups are running very well. Everything is fine. I can check I can create a database from one of the backups I have currently available. You can see here, last week I did some changes. I made some changes and I had some issues with the automatic backup configuration, but now they are fixed. I can create a manual backup if I need from this button here. I've done it already. I have some manual backups already in my backup location. Data guard, I have no data guard disaster recovery configured for this database. For the connections, I have just the standard connection using the SSH and the SSH access to the machine, and also I opened the ports on my virtual cloud network, so on my networking environment for the internal connections from other systems. Because, for example, I have now a Swing bench running to generate some workload on this database, Exascale database service. I will show you in the pluggable databases. So I have different pluggable databases. This one has been, I created one manually in order to copy some data from an external system. And it was plugged and then unplugged. So it was not completely configured with this environment, so I can delete it. I'm gonna delete this pluggable database configuration because it's not available anymore. It was unplugged. And then I have two pluggable databases which are available. I have PDB01 and PDB02. But the other environment, it is connected to PDB01. You can see here via the internal network, because this is on a separate Bastion machine I have where the Swing bench is running. So this one is the one which is having the workload currently generated by Swing bench. And then I have monitoring metrics. You can see here, this is the workload produced by the Swing bench execution. And then I have the storage utilization, and then execution counts, block changes, parts count, current logons, and so on. I will show you in a more detailed interface how monitoring can be done on an Exascale database environment. And then I have workload work requests. You can see here the configuration I made and when my backup was failing. But now everything is running okay. And I have more configuration. This is where I can go and check the logs to see exactly what is the issue that is happening, and I can fix it. And then I have tags. I have more actions for this database, for the database connection, or create a database from the last backup, and so on. However, here in pluggable databases, I will go to PDB01. and I don't have the performance hub enabled. I don't know why. Because I think it's because it's terminating a database. Let me see if this database is, because it's updating. It's in updating state. This is why my performance hub is not running. And the pluggable database is still terminating. Okay. So I waited for the container database to be updated and available again. You can see here my performance hub is available. Pluggable databases, this one is terminated. Everything is fine. I had just wait for a couple of minutes. So going back to the pluggable database, to the performance hub, let's see first the performance hub and the monitoring console for the database performance at the container database level. So I can go here, I can click on the performance hub at the CDB level. And after it loads, it takes a few seconds to load all the information. You can see this is the swing bench workload I was running before. And now, again, I'm running a workload, but this workload is running in a container database. It's not in a pluggable database. It's not in the container database. You can still monitor the workload from here, but you can see that this workload is running in PDB01. And all the information regarding the active sessions, SQL execution, user sessions are in PDB01, but you can still monitor them from the container database level. You can check this moving window and verify a particular time in the past when the performance of the database was particularly slow, or it has some issues and you want to investigate more. You can load the information from the history. It takes a few seconds. As I said, it has just one single VM and is not particularly very fast because this is a testing environment for demo purposes. You can see here, this is the workload I'm currently investigating from a few minutes ago. The workload is mixed. I have inserts, selects, and PL/SQL executions. I can check each one of the statements individually using the SQL report. And then here I have the user sessions. Again, I can check each one of the sessions individually. You can see that all the sessions have been created by a single database user, swing bench order entry, SOE, and it is using JDBC thin client, the same the driver which is running on this VM that is actually executing the swing bench workload. What else can we see here? I can group and see other dimensions if I want on this page, or I can change the way this report is displayed. And the default tab, which you can see on the screen here, is Active Session History Analytics. You can go to SQL Monitoring. You can see the SQL Monitoring details for the statements that have been particularly monitored during the execution. You can go to the last part of the chart and see what is being monitored. I can see ADDM, Automatic Database Diagnostic Monitor, tasks and findings. It is not much information at the CDB level. We will go to the PDB level and I will show you more details. because the workload actually it is executed by the pluggable database, and that's where it captures the SQL tuning sets and the execution statistics. I have more information there. You can check the workload, blocking sessions. There are no blocking sessions actually here, if I checked correctly, and SQL history. As I said, this is the CDB. You can see here the SQL execution history. But let's go to the, let's close this report and let's go to the PDB level, to the same performance hub. So going to the pluggable databases, let's go to PDB01. And here I have, again, the information regarding the pluggable database configuration, and I can go to Performance Hub. And this is where you can see more details about the SQL that has been launched by my Swing Bench application. It takes a few seconds to load the data from the automatic workload repository and to display the charts and the graph on the screen. I have this latest execution workload. It is consuming, well, I still have CPU. Let me see total activity. This is the maximum CPU cores. It's at the bottom level. So this PDB is actually running beyond the maximum CPU cores configured for the pluggable database. You can see here I have the SQL inserts and selects and PL SQL executions running on this particular pluggable database service. If I click on one of the statements, I can see the execution statistics. This is the consumption in the active session history graph of this only for this particular statement. It takes a few seconds to load the data from active session history in order to display all the information on the screen. Okay. Now I have it. So here I have the overview, plans, execution plans. I have the source of the execution from an order entry application, actually, which is the Swing Bench order entry running a JDBC thin client. You can see here as analytics from active session history, or ASH analytics for the statement. And then execution statistics for this particular statement. It takes a few seconds to load the details. And then SQL monitoring in real time. SQL text for the statement. You can see here, this is the complete content of the statement, of the insert statement, and execution plan control. I don't have much for this statement, actually. Let's go back to the main performance hub dashboard. And here, let's go to the SQL monitoring. You can use this SQL statements to create a STS SQL to be able to investigate, to run diagnostics on this on the SQL statement, SQL tuning set, You can run a diagnostic pack, diagnostic advisor, like SQL Tuning Advisor and SQL Access Advisor. You can even identify issues with some particular statements using the Automatic Database Diagnostic Monitor, the ADDM. You can have reports here and recommendations. I don't have any real-time ADDM recommendations now, but I can go to the previous tasks to see if any recommendations have been generated from the previous tasks. And you can see here from my previous executions of ADDM, Automatic Database Diagnostic Monitor, I have some top SQL statements that can be improved. And this is the value of the impact of the improvement in case I decide to apply the recommendations. I have some user IO weight class, and then I have top segments, PL SQL execution. If you click on this information and the links provided by each one of the findings, you will be able to drill down into more details and then actually apply this recommendation in order to improve the database performance by the impact percentage that is specified here in the finding details. So here I have a few SQL tuning recommendations for some of the statements. Maybe some alternative execution plans or maybe some statistics. I don't know. I'm going to go back for now, and then we can go to the workload. And we have the statistics for the CPU, for the wait time, the workload profile, and sessions. You can change the shape of the chart. You can have a line chart, bar chart, or this is, I think, an area chart for all of them. And then blocking sessions. I don't have any blocking sessions if the last time I checked. And then I have SQL's history. This is the complete SQL history of all the statements that have been executed on this pluggable database. And in SQL monitoring here, as I was saying, I can select some statements. Let me see if I move my window to the last part of the execution. To create a SQL tuning set. Okay. This is sorting. No, it's not here. It's in SH Analytics. And here in the SQL report below, I can create the SQL tuning set. I can select, let's say, all the statements I have as top SQL here in my report, and then I say create SQL tuning set, sample STS, next. Okay, I'm gonna use the AWR snapshot. I have a filter on the statements that I have selected here, but I can remove the filter. I can add all the statements that are available in my AWR snapshot. In this particular snapshot I have here selected on the screen. And then I'm going to use the preferred credential administrator, and I have the system credentials, and I click create. And then using this SQL tuning set, I can run more investigation using the Oracle diagnostic pack, and then some tuning using Oracle SQL tuning pack. It takes a few seconds to create the SQL tuning set and to get the information, all the data from the AWR snapshots. And I have this SQL tuning set available, I believe. So if I go to I can see here the automatic report, the workload repository report, and active session history report. This is the active session history. Let's go to the automatic workload repository. Let's select the snapshot. The default is the previous one, and I can download it if I want on my laptop to analyze it. It takes a few seconds to generate the report. In the meantime, let's go to SQL Insights to see what we have here. So this page now, it takes you to the database management services console. This is a different service that I applied in order to get access to the Performance Hub. I can enable the operation insights on this database, but let's go back to my. It takes a few seconds to apply the changes for this pluggable database. But let's go back to the previous page because I wanted to show you what we have here in this database monitoring. So here we have database insights, database SQL insights, and then we have fleet analysis, database analysis, SQL Explorer, database performance, ADDM, AWR Hub, and more dashboards. Here in database insights, I have just some basic information. Let me go to SQL Insights. I don't have here this configured fleet insights. I'm not sure if this is not updated or, yeah, my AWR report has been downloaded. It was generating. But this is just the PDB I currently enabled. And that's why I don't have other databases because I don't have a fleet analysis. I have one single PDB in my inventory. And this is the one I just enabled right now. Yeah, I did not enable this fleet analysis for all my databases in this environment. Anyways, just to show you, this is the SQL activity. Here is an average active session history for this databases you can monitor. And then you have the top databases. I have just one single database. This is for the last 7 days. And then database analysis. I have again one single PDB. You can see on the screen on this dashboard. Normally, you should have many databases on the screen. SQL Explorer. In this database, I have just the activity that has been generated by the swing bench. But I can look for more data regarding SQL, but I don't have much history data here in this page. Anyways, let me see if I can go back to my database SQL. This was the PDB. Now this keeps taking me to the database insight page. Okay, operation insights. Okay, let's go back to the database using. So if I go observability management, and here I go to database management overview, I will show you, because here I have more databases. This is where, yeah, I have to refresh the browser, but no, there is no need to refresh the browser. The information takes some time to be loaded. So this is the database management console. This is another dashboard for the database management. This is not database insights, where I have more databases configured. You can see here in this CDB, which is DB 1024, I have a pluggable database, PDB01, which is monitored. This is the one that is running the Swing Bench application. And then in this CDB, DB1029, this is the other container database I have on this environment, on the same cluster, Exascale cluster, in the same virtual machine, but in a different Oracle home. And I have here another PDB, PDB11. And this is a base database service, traditional database DBCS service I have running that is not in a rack environment. This is normal, virtual, just a virtualized container database. You can see here the other databases I have here. They are rack and ExaDB XS, Exascale. So this one is Exascale, this one is Exascale, but this one is just a normal VM without a rack cluster. And it has also a container database and a pluggable database. So these are the databases I'm currently monitoring. And then if I click on the PDB, the one I was showing you previously, using this dashboard, I can drill down into the management, database management of this particular pluggable databases, which is running in a real application clusters configuration on a Exadata database Exascale environment with a private endpoint and so on. Here you can see this is the workload that is currently running on this rack PDB. And I have the activity, IOPS, memory, and storage. And then instances, it has just one single instance because it's a single rack node. And then if I click the Performance Hub, it takes me back to the Performance Hub I was showing you before, which you already have seen. And then I have the ADDM Spotlight. This is a new chart for the automatic database diagnostic monitor, where you have all the findings grouped in one single report. And again, you can see the findings, you can apply recommendations, you can change database parameters. So this is a different view of the same ADDM I showed you in the previous screen, with the findings, recommendations. And I can click on any of these recommendations. I can click here, and I can run SQL Tuning Advisor, or I can view the details or the text, the SQL text. Of course, these are SQL tuning recommendations, so I'm supposed to run SQL Tuning Advisor to apply these recommendations. And then I have segment tuning, application analysis. You can see here there is no menu to run the SQL Tuning Advisor for these recommendations, because in this case, the way you can apply these recommendations is totally different. And I have more SQL tuning recommendations. So let's take one to show you how you can run SQL Tuning Advisor for a recommendation. And I say task test 01. Okay, selected SQL statement, task parameters, and then credential system, and then minutes. I can say 180 minutes for the limit for the execution. And then let me see description, example. Okay, so I have all the information included in the SQL Tuning Advisor execution task, and I can run it. And this is the way, in this way, you can apply ADDM recommendations on a managed database from the Cloud Console using the management console, database management console. I can click on the advisor task to check it if I want, but let's stay here for just a few seconds. Okay, so this page I already explained. Let's go back to the managed database details. So this is the ADDM, and then this is the AWR Explorer. I saved on my laptop already an AWR report I'm going to review later. But you can generate more reports. You can generate AWR reports, SQL reports, and active session history reports. I have some basic, this is a zoom, basic information here on the screen. I have wait events. I can show you on my database. This is on, again, the pluggable database I'm checking now. This is the automatic workload repository on my pluggable database. So you can see here the wait events. And then the activity on my pluggable database. I see maybe if the swing bench is still running, I will see that workload on the screen. You can see here the activity started a few minutes ago. And you can see here the SQL executions. If I click on one of these links, I will get into the SQL details for this particular SQL ID. And then database parameters. I can check the database parameters, and no, I don't have any database parameters. Okay, I'm going to close this report. And then SQL Tuning Advisor. This is the one that has been executed. So I've done this earlier in October, this task, but this is the task I just launched a couple of minutes ago. And I can click to see the findings and the information. Let's go back to the SQL Tuning Advisor. Tune SQL. But I would like to see the details. Let me see. A rerun task. It took just 28 seconds. I think that this one doesn't have anything that I can implement here, but let's take this one. No, this one doesn't have anything also. Okay, so I have no details on this SQL tuning tasks, SQL tuning advisor tasks, and then the SQL tuning sets. This is the task test I created a few minutes ago, the SQL tuning set. and I can use it to run a SQL Tuning Advisor, for example. Let me see if I can run on STS01 example. Okay, limited 180, run. Anyway, if there is any recommendation from SQL Tuning Advisor, this is the location where you can check. And then you have SQL Plan Management. Here you can see the execution plans, baselines. You can load SQL plans, and you can configure the SQL Plan Management SPM on your database. So I have everything enabled on this database. I have 82 SQL plans in my baseline. I can check the baseline here and see the details. I can load SQL plans from AWR or from cursor cache, from the cache, and I perform configuration on my SQL Plan Management SPM on my database. And then again, the SQL Insights I showed you in the previous screen. This is the console I showed you before we went to the database management, database insights, and then search for SQLs, search sessions, optimizer statistics. You can see here the statistics gathering tasks and how they performed in the last days. This is from yesterday, 24, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and so on. And I have also some stale statistics. I have objects without statistics, which I'm supposed to fix, because this is not good. This is not a good idea to have objects without statistics. But I have very few stale statistics, and these are the statistics tasks. And here I have the advisor. I can run an advisor to understand if there is anything. And then I have table spaces. This is managed by automatic storage management anyway. So in this case, there is no need to drill down into table spaces and perform any configuration at the table space level, because I have the users. This is the default table space for all the applications, including my sample order entry, swing bench application. And then these are the system table spaces. There is no need to change anything here. So then I have the users on this database, and they are the default users. I haven't created many users. This is the user I'm using for monitoring, the DBS NMP. Alert logs. You can check the alert logs on the screen. Attention log. You can group the alerts by urgency and entry type. Database parameters. This is, I'm supposed, where you can see all the basic database parameters that are configured on the database, on your database. But normally you can edit those parameters. Of course, this is configured. It's a predefined configuration for the Exascale deployment. So if you change any of these parameters, you are supposed to know what you're doing. The jobs. This is where you can monitor the jobs. I have no jobs running and no jobs definitions on this database. And what else? And capacity planning. This is the last part. And capacity planning, actually, it's an external console. You can reach this console by clicking on this button here, which will open a new tab in your browser. It will take you to the capacity planning console. And you need to enable the operation insights actually in order to have full capacity planning capabilities for your database. I have it enabled only on one single pluggable database. So in my case, I don't have much information, but you can see here already this operation insights dashboard has been populated with more information now. At the beginning, it didn't have much information because I was just enabling it, but now I have more information here. And if I go back, I have the credentials, alarm definitions, and so on. So you can define alarms to send you email or messages via Slack in order to notify the administrators about something going wrong into the database in the alarm definitions. And then you can save credentials here and associate database groups. So basically, this is all the monitoring and management you can do from the cloud tooling using the Oracle database cloud console on an Exadata database running on Exascale infrastructure. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention.